Good afternoon, everybody, and once again, welcome back to your channel. We often hear this term data is the new oil, and it is so important and precious. Out of all the generated data, about 70% of data is unstructured. Now, this brings me to a very interesting question like, how would you even store unstructured data on Lakehouse? I posted this question a couple of weeks back on my LinkedIn and I got various great suggestions. One of them is okay, well, I would basically store unstructured JSON as a string. But the problem that arises is basically while querying it, you need to deserialize it and then querying it, which makes it a little bit more slower. Another approach would be okay, you know what, I would just flatten it out. But what if the data types and the schema changes pretty often? This issue is solved in Spark 4.0.0 Preview 1. They announced a support for variant data type. So let's take a look at what it is. I just wrote a blog on LinkedIn, so in case if you are curious, you can go ahead and read more about it. We're gonna do a simple lab, but first I wanna walk you over what is variant. The variant type, as introduced in Delta 4.0 and supported Apache Spark 4.0, is a flexible data type designed to handle semi-structured data. Instead of storing JSON string, which requires heavy parsing and processing every time you need to access the field, the variant type parses and organizes the data natively within the framework. This allows for direct access to the field without needing to parse the entire JSON object, significantly speeding up your data processing. In simple terms, variant provides the best of both the world, the structure of a tabular data combined with the flexibility of JSON-like format, making it ideal for handling large amount of complex data. Of course, you can read more, but this is something I want to show you. So here is a graph where you can see JSON string versus JSON as a variant. You can see it's about 8 times more faster. So now we have understood that. So now let me teach you a very simple hands-on lab. We're gonna make a simple data lake, and I'm gonna cover in this. I'm gonna be using delta tables. Currently, Hoodie and Iceberg, they are working on this variant data type. They currently, as of recording of this video, they do not support variant. Delta supports variant. So in this video, I want to show you how to get started with Spark 4.0.0 preview. And then let's understand this variant data type. Let's create a delta table with the variant, of course, column in it. And let's try to query that. So that's the best way we're going to learn it, right? All right. So I think we are ready for the labs. So let's get started. So first and foremost, when you come here, make sure you have a virtual environment. So these are the Python packages we need. The most important one, the Python package is over here. I'm gonna show you. PySpark is equal to 4.0.0 dev1. This is important. We need this version. And then we also need, I believe, Delta Spark 4.0.0 RC1. So these are some of the packages that we need. And when you come to the repository, you can do pip3 install -r requirements.txt. This will install all the dependency. I already have it, right? So now I want to show you one more thing because I think you need to install the Java version. So let me do that. I'm gonna give you the commands shortly. All right, so over here, I'm just copying it. Go to my notes. Okay, here. So if you are, of course, running on Mac, you need the Java 17 for this. Older version of Java is not going to work. So I've already installed Java on my machine and I set the Java home path. These are the commands and this will be found on my GitHub, okay? So now let's take a look at the code, right? So we're going to build a very simple delta table. So let me show you that. So over here, we define the import. So simple, right? Nothing complex. Here I define my Spark session, as you can see. Now here to show you, I have taken a nested JSON, right? And here you can see I have all the data types. I have an integer, I have a string, I have a list, I have a dictionary and everything, right? So this is a JSON, but it's a string JSON. You can see these 3 dots over here. And then in Spark 4.0.0 preview 1, you can use parsed JSON. What this does is basically it will convert the string into a type called variant, okay? And then here I do the schema, print schema and show. And then here I simply write it to the delta tables, right? So let's do that. I'm gonna delete my delta table over here that I have. Okay, so now, okay, Python 3 write delta.py, and let's see this in action. So again, the important thing that I want to show you is the variant type, right? Observe here, the type is variant. It's not a string, okay? So, and here you can see that JSON, right? So now what I want to show you is, okay, you have, again, IoT devices and a lot of system is generating, JSON data, right? And the schema often changes. And this is a great way to store that data and query it for, okay. So that's that. Okay, so now what I want to show you is a read.py. So let's go over this. Simple, man. I just create a Spark session over here, okay? And then I read the table as delta df on line number 20. So spark.read.format delta.load delta table path. Then I do .show. As you can see, I also do the print schema. And then to get the values, so let me just switch the camera. So in the JSON, if you want to access any field, you have to use try variant get. That's a function, right, in Spark that you want to use. So try variant get, you would provide the column that we have, the JSON var, and the path. The path is usually, you say, okay, in this JSON, I am looking for a user object, and inside that, I want you to go to get age. So let me probably show you if this makes sense. So here, you can see this JSON, right? Inside JSON, I have a user object, and then I have an age. So the way you access these attributes is you say $.object name, which is user, .age, okay? So hopefully this makes sense, right? And then of course you have to say, okay, the target type, what are you expecting? I'm expecting string, so I'm saying that. So here you will see two things, right? I'm able to read the table, of course, and then I'm also able to access the JSON attributes. I can query and filter it, right? So let's do read.py. And I should see the data frame on the console, hopefully. Okay, observe here, this one, right? That's the data frame from the table, right? JSON var variant, right? And then see how we are able to access all these items, right? So this is fantastic, right? If your schemas are changing often, I don't need to maintain the headache of, okay, convert that into JSON string and then deserialize it. No, just use variant, that's it, right? So this is really, really fantastic. It allows me to store data in its native format, and I can run query also if needed. This is very, very new. They have just announced this couple of months back. One note I want to say, they have announced it recently, which means currently, as far as my knowledge, as per of this video, AWS supports, I believe, 3.5.2 Spark, right? So Spark 4 is not currently supported, but I'm assuming in couple of months they will add these support, which I mean like EMR and glue and other stuff, right? So great way to, of course, store your JSON objects now in Data Lake. Now, of course, you can also generate an auto increment key, and then you can store your JSON objects there. So if you have a streaming application, store your data without worrying about like the data type and then the schema issues, just store it as a variant column. That's all I have. I have a blog, I have the exercise file. I wanted to make it easy, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'll be very, very happy to probably help you out. With that being said, the best way to learn anything is always to try it out. So promise me, after this video, you will spin up a simple lab and try these exercises out. That being said, keep smiling, keep programming, and I'll see you in the next video.